క్లాస్లోనే ఉండండి మీరు. దట్ ఈస్ పనిష్మెంట్ ఫ్రమ్ మై సైడ్. Okay, so moving towards the next topic in 4th unit. So in the last class already we have discussed basic concept related to XML language. So if you are going to writing any XML language document, so then that document you need to store with the help of .xml notation, and at the same time, so like HTML, within XML also we are going to be having tags, and at the same time we will be having elements, at the same time we will be also having attributes also. But what is the major difference between XML and as well as HTML if you take means, in case of HTML, what are the tags you will be seeing? All they will be predefined tags. Okay, so already they are available and we are going to just utilizing them. So but if you take XML language, so what are the tags you are going to be writing are not part of XML language. Okay, all those tags are user defined tags. In the sense we are going to creating the tags ourselves. So for each and every opening tag you should have complete closing tag. Okay, and the combination of opening tag, closing tag, and the data in between opening and closing tag generally we call as element. So at the same time, so for each and every element, so we may also have attributes also. So attributes nothing but they will provide some extra information related to your particular element. Okay, so that attribute, so they will comes in key and value pair kind of things. Okay, so for every attribute you will be having one name and one value. Value always you need to keep in terms of double quotes here, and that name and value pair you need to always keep inside the opening tag element here. Okay, so till now all these basics we have discussed. So now as of now we need to move towards document type definition concept. Okay, so simply we also call as DTD. So document type definition, so one of the most important concept in XML. So this one and XML schema. So out of these two topics, so definitely they will ask one of the topic within your external exam. Okay, so why we generally use document type definition means, so actually it will represent the structure of your XML document. So mainly for representing the structure of any kind of XML document, so we use generally document type definition. So nothing but it is complete set of one format, so that we are going to be using in between sender and receiver of the data. So let us say within the network we want to transmit some information from one particular group of people to another particular group of people. Okay, so at source side you will be using some different type of format of data. At the destination side you may be using some different format for storing the data. So sometimes you may be also having incompatibilities between source side and at the same time destination side. So in order to avoid that kind of incompatibilities, so what we need to do is here we need to here agree on top of one common format. Okay, so source side and at the same time destination side, whoever the people we are having and whoever sending and receiving, they both has to here commonly agree upon a common standard format. Okay, so according to that format only we need to here so arrange whatever the elements we are having within our XML document. Okay, so in a particular structured fashion we need to arrange all our XML elements starting from root node to leaf nodes here. Okay, so that set of formatting rules, so that is going to be representing your structure of XML document. So we generally call as document type definition. Okay, so it is representing what type of structure your document is having. So that one will be represented by document type definition. Okay, so at the same time in order to validate your data also, okay, along with representing the structure of your XML document, so that you are going to be sharing in between source and destination side people. So in order to validate the data also, so validate the data nothing but, so in order to here check, so whatever the data received from the sender side, whether it is having the correct data or not. Okay, so for validating and in order to represent the structure of the data of your XML document, so basically we are going to using document type definition. Okay, so we have two types of document types definition. So one is we have internal DTD, internal document type definition. The second one we are having is external DTD. Okay, So internal DTD nothing but, so complete set of rules and formats that will represent your XML document structure, we are going to keeping inside your XML document itself. Okay. So if DTD lies within the XML document itself. Okay. So that kind of DTD we generally call as internal DTD. Okay. So other than that, so if let us say if DTD is stored within separate file. So DTD nothing but your set of rules related to your XML document. So if you are going to be storing in a separate file, and your XML data if you are going to be storing in a separate file means, so that kind of DTD we generally call as external DTD. So DTD if it is available within XML document itself, we call that one as internal DTD. So DTD if you are going to be storing in a separate document and your XML data is also present in a separate document. So that kind of DTD we generally call as external DTD. Okay. So in order to represent internal DTD, so what is the syntax we need to follow means, so first we need to give here opening angular bracket. So then followed by that one, we need to provide here exclamatory mark. So then followed by that one, document type, DOC type we need to give here. Okay. So followed by document type. So we need to give here root element name here. What we need to give is here element nothing but your entire XML documents root element. So that element name we need to here provide. So then followed by that one, so here we need to provide opening square bracket. So then after that one, so whatever the element declaration we are having, so whatever the elements we should have within our XML document, so within this particular root element, so we need to declare those elements declaration here. Okay. So declaration of all the elements of the root node here. So we need to provide. So then followed by that we need to here give what? Closing square bracket, then we need to provide here closing angular bracket. Okay. So this is the syntax we need to provide here. Okay. So first we need to give opening angular bracket, then exclamatory mark, document type, then space, element, space, opening square braces, then space, declaration of all the elements of the root element. So that is nothing but child elements of the root element. Then closing square bracket, and then followed by that one, here we have to provide closing angular bracket. This is the syntax we need to follow for external DTD. Okay. So first we will go with an example for representing internal DTD here. Okay. So then we will go for the same example how we can represent using external DTD here. Okay. So DTD, so in order to represent that one, so let us say we are having one student XML document. Okay. So whatever the previous class example we have discussed, the same thing I am going to taking here. Okay. So if you see that one, so there we are having, so root tag as what? Student. Okay. So then you will be having closing student tag. So within the student and slash student tags, so there you are having, so some child tags. So child tags what we are going to be having is, so name of the student. Okay. So then followed by that one, you are having what? So roll number. So then followed by that one, so you are having year and semester he is studying. Year and sem. So then followed by that one, so here you should have branch he is studying. So these information related to one particular student. So if you are going to be storing using XML document, okay, and for that particular XML document of the student document, you want to apply some kind of internal DTD here. Okay. So internal DTD nothing but the structure of the document we need to represent here. So structure of the document nothing but, so here we have to state here that, so root element is student. This student element is having the child nodes like name, roll number, year, semester, branch. So all these kind of information related to sub elements of your root element and sub elements of your sub elements or child elements, if you want to represent means, then there we need to actually use the concept of DTD here. So how we can provide the DTD nothing but, so within your XML document by default you need to here provide XML prologue. So XML prologue nothing but, so at the starting we need to give here opening parenthesis, I mean opening angular bracket, then question mark, then followed by that one XML keyword. So then version of the XML. So version of the XML we are going to using as of now 1.0. So then followed by that one, the encoding format we are going to be using for storing your entire XML data. So we generally use UTF-8 or even you can use ASCII also. Okay. So then question mark, then followed by that one closing angular bracket here. So this XML prolog statement we need to by default keep. So then followed by that one we need to keep here document type DTD here. Okay, so then opening angular bracket, then exclamatory mark. So here we need to keep doc type. So then followed by that one here element nothing but what? Name of the root element. So in this entire XML document data, root here we are having is student. So here followed by doc type we need to keep student. So then we need to give space. So then we need to begin here opening square bracket. So then followed by that one whatever the student elements we are having here. Okay, so whatever the student element sub elements we are having here, we need to provide those details here. So nothing but here in the next line within this entire XML document, the root element we are having is student. So that one we are going to telling to the browser parser here, which is going to passing or validating your entire XML document. Okay, then followed by that one, so we need to here inform to the parser that student element is having 4 child nodes. Okay, so how many child nodes we are having here means, so name, roll number, and as well as year and sem, and at the same time branch here. Okay, so because of that reason we need to here declare the first one as your root element. So here instead of doc type we need to give here opening angular bracket, then exclamatory mark, then followed by that element. So then followed by that, so here we need to give element name. So name of the element is here student. Student is having how many child element means 4 child elements here, roll number, year, semester, branch, and at the same time name here. So all these things you need to provide inside parentheses. Okay, so student element is having sub elements like name, then followed by that one roll number, so then followed by that one year, semester, so then followed by that one branch. Okay, so these are the things we need to provide here. So nothing but student is one element. Within the inside of the student element, the data we are going to be having is here 4 sub elements here, 4 child elements. Okay, so those child elements names we need to actually provide here. Okay, so then followed by that one you need to close your particular angular braces here. So then after that one you need to here represent, so within name, roll number, year, semester, and branch tags are within those elements what type of data we are storing here. Okay, so student element is storing the data like name element, roll number element, year, semester element, and at the same time branch. Okay, so now we need to here individually define what type of data we are going to be storing within name element, roll number element, year, semester, and as well as branch here. How we can write down that one means, again we need to start here opening angular bracket. Okay, so then exclamatory mark, element in capital letters, first give the sub element name as name. So within the name you are going to storing here normal data. So normal data in the sense here, so text here. So text in the sense either it may be alphabet letters or even it may be what, so some kind of numerical digits here. Okay, or it may be some real number. So whatever it may be, so all that data, so commonly we call as PC data. Okay, so PC data nothing but P stands for here parsed character data. Okay, so parsed character data nothing but, so that can be parsed actually by your XML processor which is present within your browser. Okay, so actually it is a valid data, so that can be supported by your XML parser here. Okay, so whatever the PC data we are having, so in that one you should not see some kind of special elements like less than, greater than, or it may be some kind of double quotes, or it may be some apostrophe. So these kind of special kind of elements we should not be having, or characters we should not be have within our PC data. So these data, so which cannot be passed by, so your XML parser. So generally we call as C data. So C data nothing but character data. So character data, and which should be also passed by your XML parser. So that kind of data we need to store within name element. So then followed by that one, here we need to provide information related to roll number. So element roll number will be also having passed character data. Okay, so then close your angular bracket. So then again followed by roll number, we should have here year, semester. Okay, so then followed by that one you should have here branch. So like this, we need to provide complete structure of your XML document. Okay. So by seeing this particular document type definition here, okay. So actually we can tell here that, so here this document is having one root element called student. Root element student is having 4 sub elements called name, roll number, year, semester, and branch. Okay. Then name element is storing the data of past character data type. Roll number is storing data of past character data type. So like that, we need to here clearly mention the parser that we are sending this kind of data, so that the user can also here understand who is at the receiver side, so that the data should be formatted according to these rules, so that we can send and receive the data in a correct and proper approach here. Okay. So then whatever the opening square bracket you actually here opened, so that one you need to close here. Okay. So then again here this particular opening angular bracket you need to close here. So this is how you are going to declaring your DTD related to your entire XML document. Okay. The same code whatever I have written, I am going to storing in one XML file. Okay. See here, notepad I am going to taking. So then I am storing this one. So go to file, save as. So here within the XML track, I am going to saving this one with, so student.xml. Okay. So then save as type all files. Then I am going to save it. So now see the output. You should not get any errors. So simply whatever the previous student XML file output you got, the same thing you need to again get as your output here. Okay. So click on student. You are able to see the same thing here. XML version 1.0 encoding UTF-8 document type student. So student is having, okay, wait. Actually, we didn't provided any information here. So name, roll number, year, semester, branch. So that is the reason it is going to showing as, here empty. If you see the output, name, roll number, year, semester, branch are showing as empty element. Okay. So why? Because we didn't provided any information here. Okay. So name I am going to providing as some Ramesh. So then roll number I am going to providing as, so 567 here. Year, semester I am providing as 32. So then branch I am going to providing as CSE here. Okay. If you refresh the output, now you will see name Ramesh, roll number 567, year, semester 32, branch CSE. Whatever the document type rules you have provided, they won't appear within your XML output. Actually, it is the just header information that we are going to be providing to the receiver, and that we are going to following this kind of structure for our entire XML element here, XML document here. Okay. So since entire DTD we actually kept inside our XML file itself, so this kind of DTD we generally call as internal DTD. Okay. Everyone got it? Okay, sorry, ma'am. Sorry for the interruption. Are you able to see my screen? Are you able to listen my voice? Am I audible? Okay, can someone go unmute and tell me? So internal DTD example మొత్తం విన్నారా?
Yes, sir.
అవుట్పుట్ చూసారమ్మా విత్ డేటా?
Sir, no, sir.
నో నో. ఓకే ఓకే. సో ఎంతవరకు విన్నారమ్మా? ఇక్కడ డిస్కనెక్ట్ అయింది.
Element student. sir.
Before getting out, sir.
బిఫోర్ గెటింగ్ అవుట్పుట్, రైట్? సో మొత్తం ప్రోగ్రామ్ చూసారా? దిస్ వన్ యూసా? మనం
Yes, sir.
ఇక్కడ టైప్ చేసిన మొత్తము కోడ్ మొత్తము మనం ఇంకో
No,
ఫైల్లో
sir.
నో
Only element student.
ఎలిమెంట్స్ ఇంతవరకు రాసానా? నో క్లారిటీ ఫ్రమ్ యూర్ సైడ్ నా? కొంతమంది ఎస్ అంటున్నారు, కొంతమంది నో అంటున్నారు. ఓకే.
No, sir.
సో
We didn't see.
డిటిడి కంప్లీట్ గా ఇంతవరకు విన్నారా? అట్లీస్ట్
Sir, we have seen till name element, sir.
సో టిల్ హియర్ రైట్? హలో, am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, so let it be, ma. So we'll continue from here itself. So like how we said that, so internal DTD
Yes,
nothing
sir.
but so entire
Yes, sir.
DTD, so we are going to be audio lagging
Yes, sir.
audio lagging lo unda? Hello,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, somewhat.
కొంచెం లాగ్ అవుతుంది సార్.
hello. Now am I audible, ma? Breaking on the voice ఏమన్నా?
లేదు సార్.
Okay. Yeah, I will be sharing my screen. So just see here. So internal DTD nothing but so entire document type definition we are going to be writing. So within the inside the XML document itself. Okay. So that kind of DTD we generally call as internal DTD. Okay. So within internal DTD, so what we will do is so basically so first as per your syntax. So as per your syntax, what we are going to doing is here. See. So according to syntax, we need to provide here initially document type. So here also we given document type. So then followed by that root element name. So here root element name is student. Okay. So then followed by that. So here we need to provide opening braces. So square bracket. Okay. Here also we provided opening square bracket. Okay. So then we should have to provide here declaration of all the elements that are part of your XML document. Okay. So within your XML document at the top, the root element we are having is student. So within the student we are having name, roll number, year, semester and branch. Okay. That information we need to provide. Okay. So followed by this square bracket, we need to provide that element student. First we need to provide element. So then we need to provide space. Then followed by that one name of the element student. Then followed by that one within the brackets. So we need to provide here within the parentheses we need to provide all the child elements of the student. So student child elements are name, roll number, year, semester and branch here. Actually the element is having child elements also as an elements here. We don't have any kind of data here. Okay. So then followed by that one we need to here provide so whatever the different types of data that is stored by all these 4 sub child elements here. Okay. So if you take the element name, so element name is having the data of parsed character type here. Okay. So parsed character data nothing but which can be here. So actually supported by your parser. Okay. So if you take less than, greater than, so that should not be part of your element data. So why? Because so element will be having opening and closing bracket. Okay. So suppose something like we are having so this kind of information we are having so student. So then followed by that one we are having slash student. Okay. So in between this one if we are going to providing so this symbol. So here we will be having a confusion that so for this particular symbol where we are having the closing angular bracket here. This is actually less than symbol but it will be considered as a so part of the tag here. So that kind of information we want to avoid here. So this information we need to provide it something like ampersand LT. So ampersand LT nothing but less than here. Okay. So greater than if you want to provide means ampersand GT. So quote if you want to provide means QUO we need to provide here. So ampersand if you want to provide means ampersand AMP we need to give here. So in order to here handle only the data which is not confused with your actual tag elements. Okay. So that kind of parsable data we need to provide for your name, roll number, year, semester and as well as branch elements here. Okay. Followed by those we need to close entire elements declaration by here giving closing square bracket. Then followed by that you need to close here document type. Then followed by that one you need to write down your actual XML document data. So like root element student slash student. Within that one child elements name, roll number, year, semester and branch. Okay. So then name we need to provide with some information. Okay. So if you see here name I am giving as Ramesh. 567 as your roll number. Year, semester as your 32. So then branch as CSC. Okay. So the same information whatever you seen in earlier XML document you will be also seeing in your output of this particular DTD program also. So like this one. XML prolog statement and followed by that one document type. Root element is student. It is saying. Then actual XML document structure you are completely seeing. You don't see this kind of header information that is declaration related to your root element or declaration related to your child elements of the root element here. You are not going to be seeing within your output. So this information is only treated as the header information. So header information nothing but which is not visible or which is not part of your final output. So that is only for the purpose of users who is going to accessing that data. So that here by seeing this DTD definition itself, the user can here understand that oh that this root element is student. So it is having 4 child elements called name, roll number, year, semester and branch. So name, roll number, year, semester and branch should contain only parsable character data. So in order to provide this kind of communication related to your data information. So we are going to be providing this header information as part of your DTD. So if DTD you are going to be storing within XML itself, XML document itself, so then that one we call as internal DTD. Okay. So till now, everyone, so is that clear? Internal DTD.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So then we will go for external DTD. Okay. So within external DTD, what we will do is, so if you see the syntax here, okay. So here we will be having two separate files. So one is .xml file. Okay. The another one we will be having is .dtd file. So .xml file will be having only XML data. We don't have here any kind of declaration related to your document type definition here. So simply one reference will be having here that this particular file will be having DTD information. So one kind of linking we will be having here. So within the DTD file, actual DTD information will be existing here. Inside the .xml file, we need to here provide so one linking that so this so and so particular file will be having DTD information. To provide that one, what we need to do is here we need to give doc type. So then followed by doc type, root element name, then followed by root element name, we need to provide here DTD identifier here. Okay. So DTD identifier we need to give. So then followed by that one, we need to close the angular braces. Okay. So then here what we need to provide is, so let us say the same example we need to here write down by using external DTD. So in that case, so within the .xml file. So within the .xml file, so by default you will be having your prologue statement. Okay, you will see here prologue statement. Then followed by prologue statement, you will see so this entire student structure. Okay, within XML file itself. But in between these two, between your XML prologue statement and entire student document structure, you will be seeing here this one, exclamatory document type, then followed by that one root element name. Root element name will be having student. So then followed by that one DTD identifier we need to give here. So DTD nothing but here. So we want to here denote to the parser that, or we need to here provide the information to the parser that this particular DTD file is whether available within the same local system or it is part of some internet resource here. Okay. So let us say if your DTD file is available within your local system itself. In that case, DTD type we need to give as system. Okay. Let us say if it is available on your internet, so in that case we need to provide as public. So this DTD value can be either given as system or it can be given as public. So system we need to give in case of if DTD file is available within the same local system. Public we need to give if the DTD file is available within your internet resource here. Okay. Identify nothing but name of your particular DTD file. Okay. So let us say DTD file I am giving as, so some kind of std.dtt. So that one I am giving in double quotes, std.dtt. This is your name of the DTD file. And let us say it is available within your same system here. In that case, we need to give the DTD value as system here. So this code should be part of your XML document. Okay. So this should be part of your XML document. So this one I am going to be saving as a XML document. So notepad, go to notepad here. Then followed by that one, I am going to saving this one, save as. Let us say I am going to giving as student1.xml. Okay. So I am saving this one. So then take one another file. Go to notepad. Here click on new. So then save the same file with .dtd extension. Okay. Name we have given is for DTD file std.dtd. So then here within the save as type we need to select all files, then click on save. So then followed by that one, whatever the element structure you have within the inside of the previous DTD. Okay, so internal DTD if you observe, so within the root element student, so whatever the information we are having related to your all XML elements, we need to save this one within DTD file. Okay, so go and copy paste there. So here we are telling that this entire document will be having one root element called student. That student root element will be having 4 sub elements called name, roll number, year, semester and branch. And within each and every element, we are going to storing passable character data. So this information we need to store within DTD file. Okay. So then followed by that one, we need to here actually access our XML file. So go to XML prac. So from there access student one. Okay, so now you will see the output here. Okay, so same student structure you are going to able to see here, but the first line will be here somewhat different. Here it is saying that element is root element is student and the DTD file is available within the same system and name of the DTD file is std.dtd here. Okay, so like this, if DTD definition, if you are going to be keeping inside some separate file and that file name, if you are going to be linking to your XML file, so that kind of DTD we generally call as external DTD here. Okay, internal DTD means entire DTD definition will be available within your XML file itself. External DTD nothing but entire elements declaration will be part of some separate DTD file and this document type will be somewhat differently we are going to be denoting within our XML file here. Within the inside of the XML file, just we need to provide document type, name of the root element and whether the particular DTD file is available in the same system or internet and what is the name of the particular file here. If it is available in internet, that particular file URL we need to provide here. So this kind of information we need to actually call as external DTD. Okay, so let us say for your elements we are having attributes. Okay, so as of now if you see, so none of the elements is having attribute here. Okay, so student is not having any attribute, name is also not having any attribute, roll number, year, semester, branch or whatever it may be. For none of the attributes, none of the elements we have attributes here. So let us say for name I want to here add one attribute called type. Okay, so name equal to I need to give as type. So type equal to I need to here represent whether it is first name or last name here. Okay, so that one if you want to provide means, so then here we need to give type equal to f name. Okay, so within entire document as of now only we are having one attribute. So for which element means name. Okay, so type equal to first name here. Okay, so that one how we need to actually represent within your DTD file means our DTD file is this one std.dtt. So for name element we are having here actually attribute here. Okay, so how can we give that one means in order to specify the attributes list we need to start with opening angular bracket then exclamatory mark att list attribute list. So for which element we have to provide here attribute list we need to mention that one. We are providing attribute list. So for which one? So this particular name element. Okay, so here we need to provide name. So then after name element we need to provide what is the attribute name. Attribute name is type. So attribute name we need to provide as type. So then followed by that one within that attribute we need to only store character type of data. So that one we need to provide. So this is how we are also including attribute list here. Okay. So that is about internal and as well as external DTD. So overallly we are going to using DTD concept. So either to validate your data or in order to just provide structure of your XML document. That so this XML document will be having only this root element. Okay, for this root element we are having these child elements. These child elements will be having these subchild elements and these subchild elements will be having are storing this kind of information. So representing that one will be happen with the help of DTD. Either it may be internal or even it may be external DTD here. Okay, so that is about DTD concept. So in the next session we will discuss about XML schema. Okay, So, and we will go with differences between XML schema and at the same time DTD. Okay. So, for this two concepts related to your DTD and XML schema, we have nearly 6 lab programs. Okay. So, I will explain one of the lab programs in the next session. So, for both DTD and as well as XML schema, you need to write down remaining 4 programs. Okay. So, if you are having any doubts, you can ask. So, in the next session, we will discuss lab programs. So, it is from long time we didn't touch even lab programs, right? Already I think we completed 7 lab programs. So, on these topics related to DTD and as well as XML schema, we are having 6 lab programs now. I will explain 2 lab programs. You need to write down 4 lab programs. Okay. If you are having any doubts, you can stay on the call. So otherwise, I will take the attendance and then you can leave the call. Let me take the attendance.